Let's talk about the most overlooked step in detailing a car's interior. Everyone focuses on the surface you can see, but the real problem is almost always hidden underneath. An older car's interior is a perfect place for molds to grow from years of trapped moisture and condensation, especially when you had water damage from clogged drains, which is our case. To get rid of it, you have to get underneath everything. We've already stripped the visible parts, the seats, the whole dashboard and the center console. Now we're going deeper. We're removing the dashboard's internal support frame, the entire heater and air conditioning box for a clean out, and finally pulling up both sections of molded floor carpet. Most people skip this because it's a huge job, but if you want to actually solve the problem and not just mask it, this is the step you can't miss. So let's get into it. We're going to start by removing the dashboard's internal support frame. Now let's proceed with the heater and air conditioning box, or simply the HVAC unit. To do this properly, we need to disconnect the coolant and refrigerant lines that run from the engine through the firewall. With the front subframe already removed, the engine is just hanging on the support bar. The plan is to lower the entire engine slightly on the bar. This provides the access needed to reach the connections at the back. Since the refrigerant has already been recovered by a professional off camera, I could disconnect the heater core hoses and the AC lines from the engine side and prepare the HVAC unit for removal. Now the bolts for the HVAC unit. The entire unit is wedged, so it needs some playing up and down to release it. Now unplugging the refrigerant lines. We have to cap this off to keep moisture and dirt out of the system. Next, we have to remove the molded carpets. Now, with the carpets out, we can do a proper inspection. As you can see here, there is a mold in a few spots that need treatment. More importantly, look at the rear drain holes. You can see some surface rust starting around them from the old leak. And here they are after treatment. Rust converted, cleaned and sealed using the same process we used on the whole underbody. Luckily, the other drains were rust-free. Now for the carpets, I've decided to use the molded carpet set from the donor individual 7 series to finish the interior properly. As a bonus, they even have this really neat factory net built-in for the passenger side. It's a small touch, but it completes the originality of the individual interior. And here is why we had to strip the interior. Look at the underside of these molded carpets. This is the hidden mold we were talking about. This all has to be treated and neutralized before anything can go back in. To remove this mold, I'm using Sealed Bank Black Mold Remover. It's the same product we used on the Alcantara headliner. It's strong, but we need something aggressive to kill this mold completely before the carpets can go back in. I repeated the treatment a couple of times to ensure it was fully saturated. Once the mold was killed, I used a pressure washer to blast away all the residue left by that cleaner. After a day baking in conservatory, the carpets are bone dry. But the job is not done. We've cleaned the underside, now we have to clean the top surface as well. Step 1. A deep vacuum to remove all the debris. Step 2. A deep clean. I've mixed up a carpet cleaner solution in a spray bottle. The plan is to spray it evenly across the surface. Then use the drill brush to really agitate and lift the deep down dirt from the fibers. Final step, extraction. Now we use the wet vacuum to suck all that loosened dirt and soapy water back out. This lifts the grime, leaving the carpet clean and much drier. And here is the final result. The mold is gone, and after the full clean, the carpets are finally in a state worthy of the individual interior they are going into. Now the heater and air conditioning box. After 20 years, this thing is haven for bacteria, dust and who knows what else. The first step is to strip it down completely so we can clean every channel and surface inside. Here is the heat exchanger. It doesn't look too bad on the outside, but airflow and condensation have been passing through it for 2 decades. It's getting a proper clean to ensure it's efficient and that the air coming through is fresh. The evaporator core. This is the part that actually cools the air, and it's where a lot of moisture and bacteria can get trapped. It needs a proper clean. Here is a look inside the partly stripped unit. After 20 years, it's actually not as bad as it could be. The pollen filters did their job. First step, a quick vacuum to remove loose debris. For a deep clean, we'll use the steam cleaner on both the evaporator and the heat exchanger. The heat will sanitize them, killing any bacteria and blast out 2 decades of accumulated dust and grime. The same process we'll do with the whole unit. Normally, you'd want a mat underneath to protect the part, but this unit has some sharp corners, so it's not going to slide around and scratch itself. Plus, it's all going to be hidden anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Time to put the whole unit back together. Everything is cleaned and dry, so now it's just a matter of careful reassembly. Now let's take the blower motor out. It needs a good clean and a check. And that's it. The entire HVAC unit is now completely cleaned and reassembled. Now onto the dashboard support frame. You can see it's got surface rust from the old moisture. This all has to be treated. We'll treat the surface rust with the rust remover gel. It's a product we trust from the underbody work. We'll let it dissolve the rust, then clean it off with pressure washer. To speed up the process, I'll use a Scotch-Brite pad to manually scrub the gel in and help break down the surface rust. I repeated the whole treatment one more time to make sure we got every last bit of the rust. And here is the result. The frame is now rust-free. The slight discoloration you can see is just the stains from the gel. The actual rust is completely gone. The floor is still contaminated. I'm spraying it with a vinegar solution to kill any remaining mold. Then wiping it down. And that's it. We've completed the most overlooked step. Floor panels are cleaned, the mold thread from the molded carpets is gone, the entire heater and air conditioning box is completely cleaned, the dashboard super frame is rust-free, and the 7 Series is finally ready for its individual interior. You're probably looking at this and wondering how all this wiring and all these parts are ever going back together. It looks like a complete mess right now, but that's the challenge for the next episode. If you're enjoying the journey, make sure to subscribe, like and leave a comment, as this will help to grow the channel. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next episode.